And this question's from Rebecca. What program or app is best for managing personal finances? Rebecca, I love this question because I don't get it asked often enough. And it's a bigger answer than you're probably anticipating because you're probably just want me to say like, oh, use the YNAB app, for example. That's an app out there that helps you manage your spending, helps you track your expenses, that's a great idea if you need help budgeting and tracking your expenses. What I teach though is I teach you how to build wealth. I teach you how to be rich. And to be rich and wealthy is much bigger than just having an app to track your expenses. Again, better than nothing. Most people don't track their expenses at all. So there's no chance they're going to get off the month to month, what I call the hamster wheel. But the reason why these apps can only do so much is because they're just focused on spending. They're just focused on expenses. And if you want to build wealth, if you want to build riches, if you want to create abundance, financial abundance, it's not just managing expenses. It's actually 5 parts of money. So there are these 5 parts of money. And when you want to be wealthy, when you want to be a millionaire, then you're not just tracking expenses, you're paying attention to all 5 parts of money. So the first one is expenses. So if you want to be rich, if you want to be a millionaire, you have to manage your money. Managing the money, meaning you have to track your expenses. So yes, a budgeting app can do that. And you track every expense. There's this myth that when you become a millionaire, that you don't track your expenses anymore because you've got so much money you don't have to. Again, that's just a myth. As a millionaire, I track all of my money. I watch all the expenses, and we'll talk more about that on another edition. But that's just expenses. Again, if you want to be a millionaire, the second thing you're focused on is savings. You have to have savings, extra money in the bank. You have to have that rainy day fund. You need to have that dreams bucket. You need to have money for your investing. So you have to have savings. And the budgeting apps don't really track your savings. So track your expenses and track your savings. And you want to manage your money so that you keep growing your savings. Your savings is that surplus. The savings is what gives you, when you have 6 months of savings, you're not so terrified of something that might interrupt your financial situation, losing your job or having a health condition or concern or something. When you've got lots of extra cash there, that rainy day fund, then it's less stressful than if you have no money left over and something happens. That's what causes so much of our financial stress, is not having savings. The third thing, if you want to be a millionaire, what you're tracking is your liabilities. That means you're keeping track, like how much debt do I have? And how fast am I paying off that debt? And what interest am I paying that debt? And what's my debt payoff plan? And how do I stay out of debt? And that's consumer debt, but even there might be business debt. There might be real estate debt and other types of debt. But you're always paying attention to your liabilities as well as your expenses. Your liabilities cause your expenses, but your liabilities are the loans, the outstanding loans. And the next thing that you want to track if you want to be a millionaire is your assets. So what I don't hear talked about in all these YouTube money channels and podcasts and different things, I don't hear assets talked about very regularly. And it just escapes me because that's what a millionaire means. It means you have assets minus liabilities worth $1 million. So you want to track your assets, and we don't have a system for tracking our assets. We can't keep track of what is our net worth. How far along are we on our path to becoming a millionaire? So that's the fourth thing. And then the fifth thing is our cash flow, and really how we're managing our cash and looking in our cash and keeping track of our cash and see how our cash is working and how we're spending all the money. But it's tracking the cash, the money that comes in, the money that goes out, the money that moves from liabilities, money that moves into assets. And cash flow in moving the money is what creates the money magic. So now the answer to your question, I am a proponent of QuickBooks Online. So I use QuickBooks. And the reason why I use QuickBooks is because it's business software. So as an entrepreneur, if you're an entrepreneur, all the entrepreneurs listening, this is a program for entrepreneurs, but you need to be using QuickBooks or some QuickBooks-like software if you're in your business, because QuickBooks allows you to keep track of all of the balance sheet items in your business and all of the profit and loss things in your business. And you run a profit and loss and you keep track of all of your incomes, expenses, assets, and liabilities. Now, I teach you do the same thing in household finance. You treat your household like a business. You're the CFO of your business. And so what you're doing is QuickBooks allows you to do just that, track your 5 categories of money. And then you may use QuickBooks as a software to manage your money and to move it, and again, to create this magic. And that's why I suggest QuickBooks Online. That's what I use. That's what I use with all of my students and clients. That's what they use. And, some people give me an eye roll and like, oh, I don't want to do that level of work. Like QuickBooks, that's like for business people, or that's big software. And like anything, maybe there's a little bit of a learning curve, but once you get into it, it's a lifesaver. But QuickBooks is a tool. It's software, but it's a tool that you use to become a millionaire. So I recommend QuickBooks Online or software that's equivalent. And I stay away from the apps because, again, they're not going to make me rich.
So that concludes this week's Q&A. Please let me know in the comments what stood out to you, or if you have anything to ask or add. I'm Christina. Thanks for watching. And as always, please like and subscribe to get more high-value expert financial content.